Now I want to kind of shift to the role of just leveraging the various resources, because while we are having a conversation about the federal dollars, the reality is there's a match that's required to unlock a lot of those resources. And Taj James formerly of Movement Strategy Center often says that philanthropy has a really powerful role to really use their millions and also the private sector's billions to unlock the trillions in this moment. I'm just saying. So, we've been. She was dropping bars. I really feel, and I give it to Taj. What I would say in this moment, though, is that there is a real opportunity for the role of philanthropy. And when I think about Spark, there was a large learning space graciously offered through our funders, whether it was really thinking about Ford holding us accountable around racial equity and was very explicit that this was not an equity journey, this was a racial equity journey, and that we needed to have a conversation. And when we were sitting in Schaumburg 6 years ago, there is no way that we had an anti-Black framework for the conversation. But then when we got to California and they were like, this is not a Black and white issue, this has to be a different type of conversation, it shifted the way that we did our work and had our discussions. And even just thinking about the social determinants of health conversation that really grounded us in a very different way, in part because of the folks at Robert Wood Johnson who was holding us accountable to all types of evaluation frameworks, but forced us to have a different way of thinking about this work. And I think so when you all start to talk about Justice 40, it's powerful because you have a Maria Zimmerman who's bringing in an intersectional conversation that we all had to go through because of Spark. And it was very hard to blend those different conversations as we talked about race and climate and health. But this is where we are actually seated in this moment. And so I just wanted to turn to you, Khan, because I feel like, even with Kresge, like the arts and cultural work and what we got through enterprise and we had a lot of intentionality that was put within Spark that I don't think people really understood. And it was very hard to hold, but it was all of the pieces that you needed to be able to braid the conversations that we're having today in this moment. And so even though the funders went with us on this quirky journey, it included California Endowment, it included so many community foundations, I think what it did offer us was a space to have a very different generational conversation that brings together all the pieces that are required because we don't have single issue lives. So as I think about in this moment, how do we shift from a moment to a greater movement? And I'll have some more thoughts about that later. I'm hoping that you can talk about the role that you get to sit in from a place, honestly, of privilege.
Absolutely.
And the investments that can happen in supporting place.